killing animals and people. And good morning, it is our second day in Rome. It's about 9:30, had a great night's sleep. So nice to not have to wake up for work and any other things you don't want to wake up for. Just sleep as long as you want. That's one thing I love about being on vacation, if I can organize it that way. Of course, when you're at Disney, gotta get up early to go to extra magic hours and stuff like that. Anyways, today we're gonna do a lot more walking, I think, or we're gonna do some more walking. We're on our way to the Colosseum, not only because we want to see the Colosseum, but also because we want to do a double-decker bus tour, and I'm sure we can get into one of them there. And one thing we noticed is, ich komme gleich. One thing we noticed is there's not a lot of bakeries here. I mean, living in Germany, and if you travel to Germany, you'll see that there's a bakery on every corner. And here, whereas in Germany there's bakeries on every corner, here there's gelato stands on every corner. But we were just trying to find like a little sandwich or a croissant or something for breakfast, and not having much luck. And of course there's no Starbucks here, so don't go looking for Starbucks. But we're gonna go check out this little supermarket and see if they have something there. That was successful. Got 2 chocolate croissants and a little, I think it's a pomegranate and red beet smoothie when in Rome. And this cost $3.55. So I think that's reasonable and much less expensive than it would have been if we would have gone to Starbucks. Now we're walking down this big main street. We walked down this street yesterday as well and went into several churches, cathedrals I guess you would call them. They're so amazing. Don't be fooled by what the outsides of them look like, because I think when it comes to the restoration efforts, they spend a lot more time working on the inside than the outside. So if you're in Rome and walking around doing a self-guided walking tour, then if you see something that looks like a church, go inside. You will very rarely be disappointed. This gigantic construction is a war memorial, actually, and there's several different things in it, monuments and altars and things like that. And it looks huge from down at street level, but you don't really understand how gigantic it is until you walk up to the top of it. It's enormous. It's hard to imagine the scale, seriously. So if you have the time and can walk up a lot of steps, then do it. Here at the top level, there is one stone here that's different than all the others, and I asked one of the guards here, and she told me that that's from Mount Grappa, where a especially terrible battle was, and to honor the men that lost their lives there, they took a rock and it's placed here now. These are the ruins of the Imperial Forum, and you know, a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum. I'm just kidding. Nothing funny happens in my life. These are the ruins of important pieces of Roman history. And it goes on and on and on, and I know nothing about it. realized that most of the stuff we saw on the tour, we walked past exist already anyways, but the nice thing about the bus is that you get information. And so now I feel like I've learned so much about the things that we saw already, and that makes it worth it for me. And we're back at the stop where we got on, the Colosseum, and we're going to continue on to get back a little bit closer to the hotel and then go to lunch. And one tip I can definitely give you is we're doing the red hop-on, hop-off bus tour. And most of the interesting things to see were all on the right side of the bus. So I'll try to get a seat on the right side. And here we are in the world-famous Colosseum, maybe one of the most famous parts of Rome. And I think it's fascinating. This is something I do know a little bit about, not only just from like history and high school and college and things like that, but also we rented the audio-visual guide. So you get like a little an iPod, and it's got videos and audio loaded onto it. It costs €6 extra. And it's just, first of all, this is another one of those things that, unless you've been here, you can't really understand how huge it is. It's enormous. And when you think that this was built 2,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, it's just fascinating to think about how much of what happened here influenced what we know today. If you look at modern sports architecture, you know, like the modern arenas that are built nowadays, so much of them is based on this. Like, even back then they had separate entrances, so everybody had a ticket, and on the ticket it said not only where your seat was, but what entrance you should go to, and that helped with people getting in and out, and they had ways to block the traffic to make sure that only people would get close on foot. And when we had maybe somewhat different to what we know today, but then again, sort of the same. It sort of works itself out. They had like a different like class system. So all the very important people of society, they had the good seats down at the bottom. And then as you became less and less important, your seat became higher and higher. And then the women, they had to sit at the top. Sorry, ladies. But I suppose nowadays we do have sort of like a class system just because the tickets are so expensive. So that creates it anyways. However, one sort of big difference is the things that happened here, the games they played, they were brutal. It was about killing animals and people, and that is what the people came here to see. Not a game with people kicking around balls or a hockey puck or something. This was about killing. So I'm glad that that has changed and that has not necessarily influenced culture today. This is definitely something I can recommend. You should know, though, that you need to be able to walk up and down very steep steps. There are elevators, but I think there's really only like one or two. And so if you're somebody who's going to need an elevator, just know that it's going to take extra time. And I would also recommend coming here later in the afternoon. We were here earlier today, and the line was gigantic. And then we did the double-decker bus tour and had some lunch and went back to the hotel, and then we came here, and then we had literally no wait to get inside, maybe like 5 minutes just to get our tickets and pick up the audio-visual guide. I'm going to end this for today. Thanks for following us around. I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. We're getting on the Norwegian Epic tomorrow, so follow me here, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Special thanks to all my Patreon VIPs over here and everybody who supports me on Patreon. You guys are here with me too. Thank you so much, and arrivederci.